The Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is hosting a banquet to mark its 10th anniversary. The banquet also marks Heritage Month, celebrating our collective heritage of resistance, reconciliation and reconstruction. Former Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas will be the guest speaker. Let's go live now to the Sandton Convention Center, where Aaron Bates joins us. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we understand, Uncle Kathy, as he was so compassionately known, his organization has done a great deal to deal with restorative justice and many other programs that they're running. But just tell us about the celebration. Who is in attendance and what can we expect from the banquet tonight?
Well, Tabang, I must say, just going through some of the names from the organizers on who we can expect this evening is quite remarkable in terms of the ilk of people who are going to be here. Economic Development Minister Ibrahim Patel is expected to give a speech on economic recovery. You've pointed out that Mcebisi Jonas will be speaking too. He's going to discuss standing up to state capture. Some well-known names from the state capture inquiry are also going to be here, among them Themba Maseko and also others including the likes of George Bezos and Selo Mlangeni, son of Andrew Mlangeni, and of course Mlangeni and Bezos are both Rivonia trialists, and Uncle Kathy as well was amongst those tried in Rivonia. And the list goes on. Frank Chikane, the Reverend, Wally Serote, representatives from Outer, Nick Wolpe, whose parents of course are very well known for their anti-apartheid activism, and Barbara Hogan. This is just a smattering of the names of people we're expecting here at this luminary event.
Now, as you mentioned, they've called out the big guns, but this is their 10th year anniversary celebration. Just talk us through some of the milestones that they have achieved and accomplished as a foundation that's really stamped their mark on the South African landscape.
Well, what's so helpful is that in the foyer here, amongst the tapas and iced drinks, is a display of photographs of Uncle Kathy as he was known, with people like Will Smith, for example. He was very involved in the Robben Island Museum Foundation after he stepped down from national government in the 1990s, and from around 1997 was very involved in leading tours at the island. We've also seen a photograph here of him with President Cyril Ramaphosa as he is now, and in fact that's on my Twitter account if anyone wants to go and have a look. But there is also a very useful timeline of not only Uncle Kathy's life, but his work with the foundation up until just a year before this 10th anniversary, before this decade milestone. And significantly, I thought, a note there that in the last 3 to 5 years of his life, I think it was, he did around 200 events a year. So between 2012 and 2017, an aging anti-apartheid stalwart was really out there on the ground, working hard and campaigning. And of course, significantly toward the end of his life, was very outspoken and critical of then President Jacob Zuma, penning that well-known letter calling for him to step down. And that's amongst the notes here in the foyer at the Sandton Convention Center.
Now, Aaron, you spoke of the robust work that he was doing and the organization was doing. Can you just talk us through his work with the youth? And we're here to celebrate what the organization has accomplished, but what speaks to their future? And do you perhaps know what some of their plans for the future are?
Well, in terms of the program for today, there certainly are young people central to some of the items on the agenda. We're going to have a youth choir, 2 schools in fact involved. Lawley Youth Choir is going to perform this evening, and then we have the Sileti School, and in fact I think it was their band practicing a little earlier, banging their drums and warming up for their performance. So the youth have been incorporated into the program for this evening, but also the Kathrada Foundation was very involved in leading workshops at schools. I think it was from about 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And that's been highlighted again in the timeline in the foyer. And one of the key foundational principles of the organization is this deepening of non-racialism, being a cornerstone of the foundation and its work. And so many of the workshops that the Kathrada Foundation has held and continues to hold in Kathrada's honor look to deepening that non-racialism, which it was so important to the stalwart.
Now, Erin, we can see the handshaking behind you and the socializing happening. So we'll just leave you to enjoy the tapas, and we'll definitely reach out to you again later on. Thank you so much for that update.